Chapter 306, Long-Standing Resentment. Dad, why aren't you saying anything? The son spoke up after witnessing his mom being kissed by the new stepdad, only to find his dad silent and unresponsive. Fang Hao lit a cigarette, recalling his son in the car. He extinguished the cigarette directly, speaking lightly, "In the future, don't listen to your mom. She only likes the man you see now. Yeah, she's a bad mom." Seeing Fang Hao not continuing the conversation, the son added, "Dad, why did Yue Xia shave her head?" Unsure of the progress of the chemotherapy and whether it was effective, Fang Hao was genuinely worried about his daughter, whom he had raised for 3 or 4 years. The last time Su Ro mentioned that the bone marrow matching with Xingling Tian was unsuccessful, it could be true, or it could be due to chemotherapy not going smoothly. He asked, "Does Yue Xia still remember you?" "She doesn't play with me anymore. She keeps crying and says she wants to see Dad. But Mom won't let her come." "Yue Xia?" Fang Hao's heart clenched suddenly, and he couldn't help but slam the steering wheel. "Su Ro, you despicable woman, you shouldn't have become like this," he said. "Your mom and her new husband will take good care of Yue Xia." "Dad, what is a new husband?" "It's the man your mom is with. If she asks you to call him a new dad, don't. He's an old guy. You shouldn't accept a thief as your father. I'm your only dad, and you should only have me as your dad." "Yeah, I'll listen to Dad." Fang Hao took his son home and noticed that his son's mood wasn't great. After a bath, he lay down, and in no time, he fell asleep. Unexpectedly, Fang Hao's door was opened, and his ex-wife Su Ro came in. Fang Hao got angry, closed the bedroom door, and angrily asked, "What are you doing here?" "Husband, why are you so angry? Our son saw you being intimate with that old guy. Have some decency. Get out." Fang Hao grabbed Su Ro's shoulder and pulled her outside. "Husband, I didn't do anything. It's not what you think. I didn't do anything. Get out." Fang Hao pushed Su Ro out, pointing at her coldly, "If you enter my home again, I'll call the police. Leave immediately, or I'll have your parents come pick you up. By then, I'll let them know about your ugly face." "Husband, don't be so upset. I'll leave." Su Ro didn't expect Fang Hao to be so furious. She felt his anger and unfamiliarity. The interaction they had built in the past few days, created through Fang Hao's efforts, shattered like a bubble, directly broken and annihilated. She felt unwilling. Damn it, she just got intimate with the old man, and now she comes to me. Isn't that disgusting enough? Fang Hao was so angry that his liver was trembling. Half an hour later, Fang Hao heard a knock on the door. Thinking it was his ex-wife, he felt a murderous intent. However, when he looked through the peephole, he found it was Li Jun. He composed himself, opened the door, and let him in. "Dr. Fang, it's late, and I apologize for disturbing you. But I do have a question, and it's better to clarify it in person." Li Jun could sense Fang Hao's bad mood, making him anxious. Before coming, he was repeatedly told not to provoke Fang Hao. If Fang Hao didn't help with Qing Lao's treatment, all their previous efforts would be in vain. Fang Hao said, "Speak up." "I know, and I'll tell you. It's about a photo of my cousin and a man being together. I compared it with professional techniques, and it seems genuine without any traces of Photoshop. May I ask, where did you get this photo?" "My ex-wife gave it to me." "Your ex-wife? Why would she give you the photo?" "I got divorced, right? Recently, someone arranged a blind date for me, and my ex-wife found out. Last night, your cousin also came. She heard about it and thought your cousin was interested in me, wanting to become my child's stepmother. My ex-wife didn't like that, so she sent me the photo of your cousin with a man to discourage me from pursuing her." "Oh, I see. Then I have no problem." Li Jun had been watching Fang Hao's expression all along, and he found Fang Hao was natural, not showing signs of lying. Fang Hao's reason was also reasonable and acceptable. Fang Hao added, "Since we brought it up, let me say one more thing. I find the man in the photo familiar. I should have seen him before." "Who is he?" "Xingling Tian. Dr. Fang, you might not have heard much about him because he keeps a low profile. He hasn't been in the public eye much in the past decade, and there's very little information about him online." "Damn, this old guy played me. You think I haven't heard of him? I wish I could kill him, but that would be too easy for him. I'll slowly make him suffer." Fang Hao said, "Oh, so it's him. Interestingly, my former in-laws are good friends with Xingling Tian. They share a deep friendship from their school days. Recently, I saw Xingling Tian receiving treatment at the Light Therapy Hospital. I almost forgot about this. The Light Therapy Hospital is one of Xingling Tian's many industries. Ordinary people can't enter. Your ability to enter is also based on your strength. So, it's really the old guy's business. No wonder he could change surveillance and data overnight and erase all traces of the old guy. Fang Hao said, if that's the case, does your cousin have a happy marriage? When is the wedding? Dr. Fang, things may not be as beautiful as you think. My cousin made a mistake, a big one. She can be with anyone, just not entangled with Xingling Tian. After my uncle knew about it, he was so angry that he fainted. If he hadn't woken up, we would have had to ask you, Dr. Fang, to come and treat him. Li Jun didn't hide anything. Is it this impactful? If Su Buiyuan knows, he might explode in anger. Will Zhoufan be directly angered to death? This kind of thing, not very impactful, but extremely insulting. Fang Hao fell silent. Su Buiyuan looks down on him, whether he's angry or not doesn't matter. As for Zhoufan, she has been kind to him lately, recognizing him as a half-son-in-law. He really doesn't want Zhoufan to be angered to death. They lit cigarettes, facing each other. Fang Hao said, affairs of the heart are unclear, and I am powerless. I didn't expect this photo to be so serious, otherwise, I wouldn't have brought it out. Dr. Fang, this is an old grudge between my uncle and Xingling Tian from years ago. Later, the two of them had nothing good to say when they met. Now seeing their granddaughter being so indiscreet, my uncle's old wound is exposed, and he is really angry. The old guy was quite a playboy when he was young, probably harmed many women, maybe even married ones. With the old guy's arrogance, there should be no woman he didn't dare to provoke. Fang Hao felt solemn and asked, your uncle probably can't match Xingling Tian, right? That's right, he can't match him, so he's even more furious. Indeed, this old fox Zhang Jing couldn't beat the old guy. Others probably have about the same level of ability. However, the old guy is not invincible. This time, I will break his undefeated golden body. Fang Hao's spirit was high, yet he remained calm. He said, Captain Li, Xingling Tian is relying on his age and experience, preying on the young. Chapter 307, Never Recognize a Thief as Father. The next day, after dropping his son off at the kindergarten, Fang Hao came to the hospital. In the parking lot, he was intercepted by Li Dong's wife. Dr. Fang, Li Jun talked to you last night, so I won't repeat those things. My mother-in-law doesn't know yet, so I hope you don't mention it to her. Of course, I won't meddle in your family affairs. I will only discuss medical matters with Dr. Cheng, and nothing else. Fang Hao was tactful, it was Cheng's family matter to figure out first, and then he would play the game with Xingling Tian. It had nothing to do with him. He didn't believe that Xingling Tian would fall because of a woman like Qingyu. If there was no feedback from Zhang Jing, it meant he hadn't entered the game. That indicated the story of this small photo was not enough to threaten Xingling Tian. Qingyu's story still needed to be explored. This was also a test of the Qing family's strength. Li Dong's wife nodded and then asked, Dr. Fang, may I ask you an offensive question? Why did you divorce your wife? Fang Hao was slightly stunned and asked in return, Sister, you're also a woman. Do you love your current husband? Yes. Did you have a love marriage, or was it an arranged marriage? It wasn't. It was a family arrangement, and then we found that we got along well. We haven't had a quarrel in so many years, and he has been good to me. That should be considered love, right? Fang Hao's mouth curled up, saying, Can you tell me one or two things he has done for you that deeply moved him? Or something he did that left a lasting impression on your soul? This. Can't think of any? Then, on the flip side, did he do one or two things that deeply moved you, making your soul tremble? This. Li Dong's wife fell silent. Fang Hao said, Life is not equivalent to love. My wife, more accurately, my ex-wife, she found love and pursued it. So, I was eliminated. In fact, I'm just like my job, both are very uninteresting. My ex-wife is beautiful, comes from a good background, lives a worry-free life, loves to have fun, pursues a high-quality life, and seeks more romantic emotions. As for me, besides being able to treat illnesses, I'm ordinary in every aspect, even useless in many ways. Dr. Fang, your words make me feel ashamed. Sister, don't take it seriously. I just said it casually. Don't let my negative energy affect you. In fact, I envy you guys. A harmonious marriage and a happy family. What I want is the simple and plain happiness. Fang Hao's phone rang, it was Huang Yidao calling. He ended the conversation with Li Dong's wife and answered the call. Huang Yidao asked Fang Hao to finish up with the inpatients in the general ward and then come to the orthopedic department. Fang Hao accepted only a few patients, all of them with complicated and diverse conditions that could be treated step by step. When he arrived at the orthopedic department, he spent the whole day working with knives. Even lunch was skipped. After 2 surgeries, he went to Huang Yidao's office and boiled a bowl of noodles. In the late afternoon, around 5 o'clock, Fang Hao came out of the operating room. The first thing he thought of was his son. Unexpectedly, his ex-wife Su Ro had come again to pick up their son, taking him out for dinner. Su Ro, you're not divorcing but not leaving home. What exactly do you want to do? With someone taking care of his son, Fang Hao breathed a sigh of relief but also felt melancholy. Huang Yidao came over and asked, because of your ex-wife? I'm asking about my son. With someone taking care of him, I can stay a bit longer. Fang Hao added, look, your orthopedic department is really not a place for people. 4 surgeries have tied me up here all day. I won't come tomorrow. Huang Yidao said, 4 surgeries, 4 lives. Without you, they would be 4 corpses laid out in the morgue right now. You, proficient in medical knowledge, can heal anyone, and the world can heal you, but you can't let go of yourself. I asked you to be busy for your own good. You don't understand. Alright, after 1 more surgery, I'll really go home. Fang Hao felt bitter in his heart. He was well aware of his problem. He had truly loved Su Ro for 4 years. Even if they were divorced now, seeing her again would still cause ripples in his heart. Love or hate, anyway, his state of mind was hard to calm. He really should give himself some time to let the him of these 4 years forgive himself. The other side. Su Ro, accompanied by her son, was heading to a private restaurant. She noticed her son's low spirits and asked, what's wrong? Your favorite dishes, braised lion's head and dongpa pork, will be served shortly. They're even more delicious than what you have at home. I miss Daddy. Daddy told me to behave, but I didn't tell him. I came out with you, and Daddy will scold me. Daddy scolds you? He actually scolds you? If he dares to scold you, tell Mommy. You're Mommy's son, and no one is allowed to harm you. Daddy has never scolded me. He's really nice to me. I want to listen to Daddy. Tian, you're so sensible. Mommy is even jealous of Daddy now. Su Ro's eyes were filled with satisfaction. Her son was showing understanding. Her son asked again, can you call Daddy and ask him to come over? Daddy also loves braised lion's head. Daddy won't come. Why? Daddy doesn't like this place. Is your new husband here too? Su Ro was shocked and asked, new husband? Who taught you to say that? Daddy did. But it's not a new husband. That sounds bad. But you can call him a new dad. I won't. I only have one dad, and his name is Fang Hao. But I added a new word. New dad is also a dad. Dad Fang Hao also loves you. Is that bad? It's bad. Dad told me not to recognize a thief as a father. Su Ro frowned. At this age, her son was most susceptible to brainwashing. Now, her ex-husband had imprinted the idea of not recognizing a thief as a father, and it would surely take some effort to erase it. She didn't dwell on the matter and shifted the topic to food, successfully diverting her son's attention. In the restaurant, Xingling Tian was already waiting. When he saw Su Ro, his eyes lit up. Even if it was just a couple of hours since they last met, seeing her again brought him joy. However, when he saw Fang Tian, there was clear disgust in his pupils. But at this moment, he became interested. He approached, wanting to hug Fang Tian. However, Fang Tian hid behind Su Ro. Xingling Tian smiled and said, what are you afraid of? Come out quickly, I'm also your dad. Call me dad. Yeah, call him dad. Su Ro was overjoyed, thinking that Xingling Tian was accepting her son. It seemed like her turn for acceptance wasn't far off. She pulled her son out, and when she saw Xingling Tian squatting down to communicate with him, she felt like melting. But unexpectedly, when her son spat on Xingling Tian's face and said, my dad told me not to recognize a thief as a father. You little beast. I'll kill you. Xingling Tian's expression suddenly turned fierce. He reached out and grabbed Fang Tian's neck. Fang Tian instantly felt pain, his little face turning red from the suffocation. Chapter 308, Old Man, I'm not afraid of you. Xingling Tian, let go. Release him quickly. Su Ro erupted with maternal instinct, snatching her son away from Xingling Tian. With a swift motion, she pushed Xingling Tian to the ground, then checked on her son, protecting him. Fang Tian coughed, quickly recovering, not crying but widening his eyes, glaring fiercely at the rising Xingling Tian. Su Rou also glared at Zheng Lingtian, asking, Lingtian, what are you doing? Why can't you get along with a child? He's only 4 years old. The little brat spat at me. Su, let go of him, let me discipline him. Zheng Lingtian was furious, staring at Fang Tian in Su Rou's arms, reaching out to grab him. However, Su Rou pushed him away. His agility was lacking, and he grabbed a chair but couldn't hold it, sliding down to the ground with it. At this moment, Tian rushed over to Su Rou, lifted his little foot, and kicked Zheng Lingtian. Zheng Lingtian got up and tried to grab Fang Tian. Tian. Su Rou rushed to push Zheng Lingtian down again and quickly pulled her son back. Mom, I miss Dad. I want to go back to find Dad. At this moment, Tian longed for his dad. If his dad were here, he would surely beat this old guy. Dad could protect him. Su Rou, let go. Today, I must teach this little brat a lesson. Zheng Lingtian got up again, slower this time, but thoroughly enraged. Old man, I'm not afraid of you. Tian glared and spat again. He even picked up a small bowl from the table and smashed it towards Zheng Lingtian. Damn brat, if I don't kill you, my surname isn't Zheng. Zheng Lingtian was provoked, even angrier. But as he approached, Su Rou blocked him, grabbing his hands and pushing him backward, making him sit back in his seat. After all, he was getting old, weaker. Even as a man, his strength was no match for Su Rou, a woman. Moreover, Su Rou, in her motherly fierceness, was stronger than usual. If you want to harm my son, I won't agree. Zheng Lingtian, you've disappointed me. My son is only 4 years old, and you're much older. What's your identity? Why can't you get along with a child? You're not the Zheng Lingtian I know. You've truly disappointed me. Su Rou scolded, shaking with anger. Caught off guard, Zheng Lingtian blushed, saying, Su, he's little turtle's son, not mine. But he's also my son, flesh and blood from my body. If you want to harm him, you have to get through me first. If you truly hurt him, I will never forgive you. If you don't like it, I'll take him away. I'll take my daughter too. You won't see them again. Su Rou pulled her son, turning to leave. You. Su, don't be angry. I didn't mean that. Listen to my explanation. Zheng Lingtian tried to pull Su Rou, but she shook him off. His throat seemed to be choked, gasping for breath. He could only sit down, watching Su Rou leave. The more he thought, the angrier he became. He pushed away the bowls and dishes on the table. What happened today? Why is my mood so unsettled? Is someone trying to harm me? Click. Fang Hao opened the door and, upon entering, saw his son running over, clinging to his thigh. Before he could say anything, his son spoke first. Dad, that old guy hit me just now. Who? For a moment, Fang Hao didn't react. Mom's new husband, he hit me. Where did he hit you? Let Dad take a look, see if you're injured. Fang Hao put his son on the sofa and quickly checked. He pinched my neck like this. His son demonstrated, coughing because of too much force. Fang Hao immediately checked his son's neck, finding some faint marks. He gently touched them, ensuring the tracheal cartilage was not damaged. There were no other injuries on his son's body, and the pulse was normal. Husband, it's a misunderstanding. Su Rou came over. A resounding slap echoed as Fang Hao's hand struck Su Rou's face. Facing Su Rou's astonished and dumbfounded expression, he coldly warned, I'll warn you again, don't take my son to see your wild man. If there's a next time, you'll bear the consequences. From now on, you're not allowed. Stinky dad, don't hit mom. The son climbed off the sofa, kicked Fang Hao's shin, and tried to bite his hand. Enough. She's a bitch, not your mom. She doesn't deserve to be your mom. Fang Hao scolded his son. Tian, it's mom's fault. Dad did well. When mom makes a mistake, dad should discipline her. Don't interfere. Let dad deal with mom. Su Rou gritted her teeth, glaring at Fang Hao. She raised her face, inviting Fang Hao to hit her. When Fang Hao didn't move, she grabbed his hand and forced it onto her face. Is this your trick? Acting weak and pitiful in front of me? Fang Hao shook off Su Rou's hand, saying, Where is that old man? Husband, don't cause trouble. I've settled this matter. I'll handle it. Please don't get involved. Su Rou thought of something and quickly embraced Fang Hao's abdomen. As Fang Hao retreated, she didn't let go, directly holding onto his legs. Why? Are you afraid I'll go and kill him? Well, I guess so. An old man in his 60s or 70s, weak, needing regular care. He could keel over at any time. But this old man, he deserves to die. Fang Hao pushed Su Ro away, speaking coldly, wearing a cuckold's hat for me and bullying my son. Should I endure it? Do you want me to endure it, Su Ro? Today, I'll give you a choice. Either tell me where that old man is, or I'll go to your parents and tell them everything. Choose now. Husband. Su Ro's delicate body trembled. Now, Fang Hao was in a rage, and she couldn't control him. She had no idea what Fang Hao would do. 10, 9. Fang Hao began counting down. Tianji Peak. Husband, please don't go to my parents. Don't go to them, I beg you. If you go and can't find him, I'll go to Subuyuan and Zhoufeng. Fang Hao turned around, scolding his son, who stared at him angrily, not accepting what had happened. What are you looking at? Stupid. Why are you staring at me with those big eyes? Is that resentful expression for me? You only know how to bite me, like a leopard under the bed. What can you do? You're just like your slutty mom, not on my side anymore. You're a wolf with blue eyes. One day, I won't want you either. Let's see who will protect you. Dad, I'm not a wolf. His son stubbornly retorted, coming over to hug Fang Hao's thigh. Remember, you're just Dad's son. Any new or old husband of your slutty mom will only treat you as a bastard, never be good to you. Husband, stop it, please stop. Tian is still young, he doesn't understand. Su Ro pleaded. Fang Hao's words were like knives, stabbing into her heart. Her heart was in chaos. Thinking back to Lingtian's gaze at Tian, there was truly no hint of parental affection. She was initially puzzled. If Lingtian cared for her, loved her, why didn't he like her son? Moreover, Lingtian didn't like the child in Su Ro's belly either. He had suggested to Su Ro to get rid of the child, saying there was no need to keep it after the divorce. Now she understood. In a man's eyes, if the child wasn't his, it was a bastard. That's why Lingtian couldn't accept Fang Hao's child. This situation was similar to Fang Hao not inquiring about Jiajia's illness because Jiajia wasn't Fang Hao's child. One child, one father. Why did it have to be like this? If both were Lingtian's children, there wouldn't be so many problems. Chapter 309, Fury Unleashed. Dr. Fang, where are you in such a hurry? Li Jun continued to tail Fang Hao. He noticed that after Fang Hao got into the car, he quickly left, and the direction wasn't towards the hospital. After a while, he realized that Fang Hao's destination was Tianji Peak. Surprisingly, Fang Hao somehow managed to enter the Tianji Peak residential area without any hindrance from the security guards. Li Jun hurriedly followed, showing his police credentials to gain entry. Lingtian? Is Fang Hao going to Lingtian's house? Is it for Auntie Qing? Li Jun sensed trouble and quickly caught up, parking the car and rushing over. But he was too late. Fang Hao had passed through the main gate, and facing Lingtian, he unleashed a punch, followed by furious kicks and stomps. My son is only 3 or 4 years old, and you dare to lay hands on him. You're not human. You dare to touch my woman, you're asking for death. Li Jun rushed over, grabbing Fang Hao from behind to prevent him from continuing the assault. Hearing these words, Li Jun believed that Fang Hao came for his aunt, Qingyu. Li Jun also disliked Lingtian for his inappropriate actions towards their relatives. An old man like Lingtian should not be preying on their family members, humiliating them in such a manner. However, Li Jun was a policeman and couldn't forget his duty. Lingtian was beaten bloody and watched fearfully as Fang Hao continued the assault. Stop! How dare you fight here? A middle-aged woman emerged from upstairs, dressed in a high-quality silk pajama set with a white towel wrapped around her head, appearing mature and beautiful, as if she had just finished bathing. Let go of me and let me go kill this old bastard. Meeting an old enemy, especially now that Fang Hao was enraged, he wanted to kill Lingtian on the spot. The earlier plan of gradually weakening Lingtian, causing him to be isolated, and eventually slowly killing him, all went out the window. Tonight, Fang Hao learned that Lingtian intended to harm his son. Confronting Lingtian face to face, Fang Hao found him weaker than he had imagined, feeling even more insulted. This kind of old scum actually succeeded in cuckolding him? His beloved wife dared to be played by such an old scum? And this kind of old scum still wanted to manipulate his career and fate? Fang Hao, filled with youthful vigor, couldn't bear it. Do you dare? Try hitting someone in front of me. The middle-aged woman scolded. Let him go and let him hit me. Lingtian shouted, looking at Fang Hao with a bloodthirsty gaze. He said, your woman has a really good taste. Go to hell, you old bastard. Fang Hao, in a fit of rage, no longer calm, struggled free from Li Jun and pounced on Xingling Tian, landing a punch on his cheek. At this moment, Xingling Tian didn't feel the pain. Ignoring the blood flowing from the corner of his mouth, he reached out and grabbed Fang Hao's neck, his sharp nails sinking into Fang Hao's neck flesh. Feeling the pain, Fang Hao let go and grabbed Xingling Tian's wrists, tearing them away. Li Jun rushed up again, using his hand to strike down, knocking Fang Hao unconscious. Pointing at Xingling Tian, who still wanted to attack, Li Jun said, "Xingling Tian, stop it. Your personal grievances end here. Qingyu is my aunt. The three of you are entangled in a messy love affair. It's not honorable to talk about it. Now that the fight is big, tempers are vented, and everyone is bruised, it's time to end it. Later, the three of you sit down and talk peacefully, resolve it peacefully. Qingyu? A love triangle?" The middle-aged woman came over, not expecting this farce to be a soap opera-like love triangle. "It's been a while since someone beat me like this. It seems I am truly old." Xingling Tian was still sitting on the ground, wiping the blood from the corner of his mouth, looking pensive as he gazed at the blood on his hand. "Do you need to go to the hospital?" the middle-aged woman asked. "No need. Don't move recklessly. I'll bandage you first, then call Lao Wang over." The middle-aged woman turned to Li Jun, saying, "I don't want to see any of you. Leave in 5 minutes, or I'll call Director Xiao." "Explain to him." "Director Xiao?" Li Jun frowned. That was the head of the provincial bureau, his absolute superior. If he alerted such a figure, the situation tonight would escalate, making it difficult to handle. It could even lead to complications for Fang Hao, and if Fang Hao were detained, it might delay his grandmother's treatment. This is a matter of personal grievances. Let's all understand each other. Li Jun carried the unconscious Fang Hao out, put him in the car, and left. Phew! Fang Hao suddenly woke up, realizing he was in a car. Li Jun was driving, and he touched his sore neck, asking, "Why am I here? You woke up so quickly?" Li Jun was surprised but pulled over, got out, and opened the middle door, saying, "Dr. Fang, I was worried you might really kill Xingling Tian, so I knocked you out first and brought you out." "So, it was you." Fang Hao touched his neck, feeling relieved after a few squeezes. However, his neck still burned, and his fingers were stained with blood. Li Jun handed him tissues, saying, "I'm moved that you fought for my aunt, but it's not worth it." "For your aunt? Qingyu? I have no connection with her. I fought Xingling Tian because he bullied my son and cuckolded me." Fang Hao slowly recovered and said, "You shouldn't have stopped me. I should have killed that old bastard Xingling Tian. But please don't act impulsively. Dr. Fang, I know you've read legal books. How could you knowingly break the law? If you killed Xingling Tian, you might feel relieved, but your family would suffer. Throughout history, murder comes with a cost. You're only in your 20s, with a house, a car, a child, a family, and parents. You have excellent medical skills and a bright future. Xingling Tian is in his 60s or 70s, in poor health. How long he can live is uncertain. If you sacrifice yourself for him, it's not worth it." "You're right, but you don't understand." "Never mind. I fought, but I didn't kill him. I guess I'm incompetent. Now, thinking about going back to finish him off is no longer an option. Get me a cigarette, my cigarettes are in my car." Fang Hao, trying to calm down, lit a cigarette. "Dr. Fang, unexpectedly, you're a passionate person. If my aunt knows you risked your life for her, she'll definitely be deeply moved. She'll regret being with Xingling Tian." "Sigh, I fought Xingling Tian for reasons unrelated to Qingyu." Fang Hao leaned back in his seat, smoking, feeling a sense of relief but not fully satisfied. He also thought that the fight was too impulsive, and he didn't hit the right targets. He should have grabbed Xingling Tian's head and slammed it onto the pointed edge of their bar table, breaking Xingling Tian's skull. Or he could have twisted Xingling Tian's neck, breaking the bones and nerves. Or he could have prepared a knife. Countless ways to kill, but because of his anger, he didn't utilize any of them. Of course, blame also fell on Li Jun. If Li Jun hadn't knocked him out, and he continued to use his fists, he could have beaten Xingling Tian to death with his bare hands. "I understand. Let's not talk about this. I'll take you home now. Rest peacefully at home and don't come out again. I'll go bring your car back later." Li Jun chuckled inwardly. Fang Hao was indeed reserved and modest, pretending that he fought for his aunt, Qingyu. But Fang Hao had no connection with her. Li Jun thought, "It's a pity, you were so passionate just now for a reason unrelated to your aunt." Chapter 310, don't even think about it. Darling, you. Seeing Fang Hao return with blood on his neck and clothes, Su Ro, who was already anxious, became even more worried. The old bastard is beaten to death, you can go mourn for him. Fang Hao entered the bathroom, took off his t-shirt, and began to clean the blood stains on his neck. Xinglingtian's sharp nails had scratched his neck, leaving some dried blood. Of course, most of the blood on his neck came from Xinglingtian's hands. They had still met, and they had to fight to the death. Su Ro sighed. She was worried about Xinglingtian's injuries, but since Fang Hao came back and Xinglingtian didn't pursue the matter, it meant Fang Hao didn't kill him. She didn't know what happened, but at least no one had lost their lives. That was fortunate. Honey, don't be like this. I've always loved you, and I never thought of hurting you. The incident with our son during dinner was an accident. He was wrong to bully our son. But, to be fair, our son spat at him first, which wasn't right either. That's enough. Our son was fine, and he shouldn't spit at others. Why did he spit at the old bastard? You know it well. Why shirk your responsibility? Fang Hao opened the first aid kit that his ex-wife had brought to help clean the wound. He said, Su Ro, I know your tricks. You want that old bastard to accept Tian every day, so he'll be more accepting of the child in your belly. Without any grudges, he'll be willing to marry you. As long as the old bastard is willing to marry you, he will try to get the approval of your parents. This way, everything will go as you wish. Su Ro's body trembled. She did have this plan. That's why she brought her son to have dinner with Xinglingtian. However, she underestimated her son's stubborn personality. Even though he was still young, he instinctively resisted someone becoming his father. Honey, it's not what you think, really. You'll prove it to me, that's exactly what you think, and you'll do it that way. Su Ro, I understand you better than you think. Hearing their son crying in the room, Fang Hao hurried over and found him in a nightmare, flailing his arms and legs on the bed. He quickly went over to comfort him. Su Ro also panicked and went straight to the bed, holding their son in her arms, saying, Mom and Dad are here, don't be afraid. Mom will protect you. Dad. In a daze, their son still called out for his dad. Fang Hao also got on the bed, leaning beside their son, gently patting his back and calling him softly. It took a while to soothe their son and get him back to sleep. Honey, don't leave, let's stay here together with our son. Su Ro was afraid that Fang Hao would go to the study again, so she hurriedly stopped him. Fang Hao frowned, he didn't want to share the bed with his ex-wife. Honey, do you mind that we are divorced? Just think about it, there are your 3 children here. Even if you don't want me to accompany you, let the 3 children accompany you. Is playing the family card useful? Although Fang Hao said that, he didn't move away and stayed with his son. Ex-husband, ex-wife, 3 children, a night without words. After dawn, Fang Hao opened his eyes and found his ex-wife by his side. Their son had been moved to the other side, and now Fang Hao was being embraced from behind by his ex-wife. She was sleeping very soundly, nestled against his arm. He felt a bit surreal, recalling the moments of the past 4 years flashing through his mind. There was a time when he truly wished to hold Su Ro like this for a lifetime, until the end of time. Unfortunately, Su Ro betrayed him. Fang Hao pushed Su Ro's head away and withdrew his arm. He took a shower, prepared breakfast, and when he turned around, he noticed that his ex-wife had also showered and hung small clothes on the balcony. He said, Su Ro, do you really think this is your home? Take them away, or I'll throw them in the trash. You? Am I not here to take better care of our son? Otherwise, would I interfere with your life? Are you afraid that my things will stay here and hinder you from bringing women home? Su Ro retorted, giving Fang Hao a flirtatious glance. She continued to hang clothes, thinking to herself that if he threw them away, she would bring new ones next time. She had plenty, and one day, he would get tired of throwing them away, and then he would tacitly accept them. Dad. Their son woke up and wanted Fang Hao to hold him before getting up. Fang Hao let his son use the bathroom and realized that his ex-wife hadn't bathed their son last night. He took care of giving his son a shower and then helped him with breakfast. Watching their son enter kindergarten, Fang Hao turned to Su Ro and said, From now on, you are not allowed to pick up our son privately, and you are not allowed to take him to meet any of your random men. Honey, he is also my son. You should be grateful that we have a son. Otherwise, with shoes on, I won't be afraid of stepping on thorns. You and the old guy won't have such a peaceful life. Su Ro understood that their son was Fang Hao's ultimate bottom line. Once she crossed that line, Fang Hao would truly become an uncontrollable factor. If he went crazy, she, along with Xingling Tian and her parents, would all pay the price. She said, "Honey, I understand. From now on, I will only take our son out to play with your permission. You shouldn't appear in front of us, father and son. Honey, I know you don't want to see me, and I really have let you down. I came to see our son intensively these days for another reason. I have contacted experts abroad, and they are arranging a ward. Jie Jie will be sent abroad for treatment. This may take some time. I won't appear in front of you and our son for a while. I hope Jie Jie recovers smoothly." Fang Hao gritted his teeth, feeling annoyed with himself for not being able to heartlessly forget about his daughter. She wasn't his daughter, and he shouldn't be concerned. "Honey, if I hand Jie Jie over to you for treatment, how confident are you?" "Su Ro, don't even think about it." Fang Hao suddenly felt upset, although he knew it was impossible because Su Ro wouldn't challenge his bottom line like that, and Xingling Tian wouldn't think highly of him enough to let him treat Jie Jie. But if that day really came, would he treat her or not? "Honey." Su Ro watched Fang Hao leave in the car, then turned to look in the direction of the kindergarten, feeling inexplicably melancholic. However, Professor Ma from Tianyi Hospital's call immediately made her put away her emotions, and she hurriedly returned to the hospital. She saw her daughter, who refused to take medicine, refused breakfast, and cried incessantly. She rushed forward to comfort her. "Mummy, I want Daddy. I miss Daddy. Why doesn't Daddy come to see me?" Jie Jie cried. "Daddy is on a business trip. He hasn't come back yet. When he comes back, you'll see Daddy." Su Ro picked up her daughter, feeling that she had become lighter again, and her heart tangled up. After finally calming down her daughter, making her eat breakfast, take medicine, and sleep, Su Ro was exhausted. She went to another special care ward and saw Xingling Tian, who was beaten to a pulp. She couldn't help but feel heartache. "Fang Hao, you bastard, you really hit so hard. Are you trying to kill someone?" She approached, stood by the bedside with crossed arms, and said lightly, "Does it hurt?" "It hurts, but it's very comfortable. Su, this way, we're even, and you should forgive me. Ling Tian, even if Tian is not my son, you shouldn't have done that. You really have no taste." I don't know what I was thinking at that time. When I thought that even that little turtle's son dared to despise me, I got annoyed. I handled that little turtle, but his son spat on me. I lost face in front of you. Su, I know I was wrong, really wrong. Please forgive me. Thinking of my husband, me, and our outstanding son makes you uncomfortable? Of course, I'm jealous. Then continue to be jealous. Let me tell you one more thing. Last night, I slept with my husband. Oh, did you do it?